First of all, thank you all for sticking around. We're going to talk about social media today. How many people here have a Facebook account? Pretty much everybody. How many people use Instagram? Quite a bit, quite a few. So social media is extremely important, not only to your business, but also to you individually. Because every time we check on social media or check in social media, we're building our own brand, which is called our name. So we have, to give you an example, we're a car dealership, and through social media, we have a story to tell. I kind of told our story a little bit when I first came up about how we're an employee-owned company. Well, consumers not only want to know about the business, but they want to know about the individuals behind the business. One of the fastest growing professions in the nation right now is a videographer. We have a videographer here with me that travels around and records what we do because we have a story to tell. And people want to know more about behind the curtains. Who are they doing business with? Are they good people? Are they involved in the community? So being progressive, we hired our own videographer. His name is, we even branded him. He's Carlton the Camera Guy. So he's got his own hashtag, and he goes around and he interviews employees. And we post this on social media. Last year, we did $140 million in sales. 20% of our sales came from social media. Do you know what we paid for that? Zero. It's through employee engagement. So I'll just share a little bit of kind of how we use it. I'll share, we can talk about some different, I left some room for some questions and answers about any profession that you're in. And how this could possibly relate to your profession. How many people, what industries do we have in here? How many people are in the real estate? Quite a few. Real estate, anybody in the car industry in here? I see a lot of people from banks. What other industries am I missing? Fitness.
Marketing.
I know who you are. You know how I know? Because you do a fantastic job through social media. You do a fantastic job through social media. Actually, your social media and me going to CrossFit in Harrisonburg has my assistant coming over and training with you. But you know how that originally started? Let's take this full circle. I check in every day at 4:45 or 5 o'clock. I go to CrossFit with my wife. I happen not to look like it, but I work out 11 times a week. Can you imagine how fat I would be if I didn't work out 11 times a week? I mean, let's just be serious. I'd be a big, big fella, right? So I work out 11 times a week, but I get up every single day and I check into Facebook and I post something positive. Hey, going to go work out today. Some humans would sit and look at that two different ways. They would sit and look at it and they would say, gosh, he sure is self-righteous. He's there checking every single day. Well, no, I'm not. I'm trying to inspire other people that if I can work out 11 times a week, have a wife, 2 kids, manage 5 car dealerships, day-to-day operations, that anybody has time to go work out. So because I check in and say good things about CrossFit, she saw you on social media because you just opened up a new branch. She heard about your program, your beginning program, Smart Branded, and she joined your CrossFit. But it really started because I was checking in social media. I happen to have businesses in Augusta County. We live in Rockingham County. But she saw that by my initial check-in. So everybody get how social media just works. And we'll go through some of that with you about some of our strategies. What do we do every single day in order to have a social media presence? People say, well, Scott, you know, how do y'all sell? Last year, we sold almost 6,600 cars in a population of 24,000 in Stanton, Virginia. Well, how do you do that? Part of it is we have 180 great employees. Some of the best employees in the world. Part of it is we have great products. Part of it is we're in a great location, right? We're right there off 66, so you get to 81, you get 6, great location. Stanton's in a fantastic location for growth because it's easy to get to. But we do, and then we train our staff on how to use social media. Our best practice, what we tell our staff to do, we ask our staff to not have a business page, to have their own page. When a consumer looks at me, and if I had Scott Simon's Valley Auto Group, my business page, they wouldn't see that as being genuine. They want to know about me. When you decide to go this route, you kind of lose my right to have some opinions. You won't see me tackle politics. Forget about it. Let the news cover all that mess. I don't watch the news. Let the news cover some of the negative things. I stay out of the news. I don't even really know what's going on because I live in my own world, and I just choose to stay positive. So when we ask them when they get to work to check in, so they don't have to, so they come into work and they'll post a picture or they'll go Facebook Live. How many people here have done a Facebook Live? Raise your hand. Probably what, about half? About half the people here. When that little red button goes and it says you're going live, I don't care how many times you do it, you get just a little bit nervous. You get a little bit sweaty and it never goes away. So if y'all tried Facebook Live a couple times, I suggest for you to do it because people are not reading text anymore. They're not looking at pictures anymore. Video is going to dominate the world. If you're not on video and you're not relevant, people aren't going to know who you are. And you want people, at the end of the day, you want people to know who you are. So we don't ask our staff to set up a business page. We ask them to just go through just their personal page, right? So don't set up two different pages. It confuses the consumer, and the consumer wants to know about the individual that's selling the product that they may be interested in. We're very fortunate. We sell transportation. Thank goodness y'all all at this point need transportation. May not in the future, who knows? We may all be going around and, cars are going to pick us up, drop us off to our credit cards. There's all sorts of disruptors coming to the car industry that we're very aware of. The Teslas that are attacking our franchise model in the state of Virginia. We have all sorts of disruptors coming on. We have Amazon that wants to start selling cars directly to consumers. So our company stays very progressive and stays on top of what's going on, because if you don't stay progressive in what's going on, you'll become extinct. Any one of y'all's professions, a videographer now is recording some of our stories. So what does that enable me to do? It enables me kind of to cut back on advertising because I can tell my own story, right? So, and it's free. Social media is free. So we ask our staff to come in. We ask them to check in with a picture or a video of where they work. And they need to be them. Don't try to be me. Don't try to be you. Be yourself. Because one thing about it is people's detectors of you not being genuine is as sharp as it's ever been. When y'all agree? Because of social media, we say, that's not him. And when people meet you in person, you want the people to meet the person who they thought you were. Because anymore, you're not meeting people and then getting to know them on social media. I know a lot of y'all people in this room. I know you really well. Never met you before. I know him really well. Now I know him through social media. So when I go meet him, you're meeting through social media, then you're meeting in person, and what you're saying is that person really the person I thought they were? And if you're not that person, then you could come across as fake. And no one really wants to deal with fake people. They want to deal with genuine people that they can relate to their story. Every single person in this room has a story to tell. Just do you choose to tell it or not? That makes you unique. So they check in. We have 50 salespeople. 180 employees. I have about 20 managers, 70 are in sales. If each one of those 70 check in, for that day, I get what? Free advertisement, don't I? Plus they're promoting their brand. You were in car sales. What's the worst thing that can happen is somebody come in and say, I didn't know you worked here. Man, I knew you worked here. Well, we make that almost impossible because we're so active in social media. That if someone thinks of transportation, we think, you know what, those valet people, they're decent people. Do they make mistakes? We make mistakes every single day. Do I make mistakes? Every single day. Absolutely, I do. I'm a human being. Do I say things that after I say it, why did I say that? Yeah, I'm a human being. I'm not perfect. We make mistakes all the time, don't we? So we ask them to check in. We ask them to be involved in social media. If we sell you a vehicle, we get an authorization to where you put your comment. We take a picture of you with the car. You'll see a lot of car dealers starting to mimic even our form. I see our form getting posted on social media. Somebody that left us took our form, changed our name, and I'm like, I recognize that form. We created that form. But that's okay. Imitation is the best, flattery, right? That's okay. Because if they don't do it every single day, and if you let up 1 second, it's such a competitive business, someone's going to take what you've got. We're a car dealership. We have as low margins as grocery stores. The average car dealer between net to sales versus net profit is 1.7%. If any of y'all here to operate a business at 1.7% margin, it is tough, very tough to do. So you've got to keep expenses, you got to look at personnel. We even know what every employee generates. We know what industry averages are. We know what they generate in profit. We know what they generate in sales, and we have it down to a science, and we perform at very high levels because everybody knows what we expect out of them, and we're crystal clear with our expectations. And if we can't live up to our expectations, take care of our customers, then we counsel, we train, and then we do have to eliminate sometimes. So, picture the customer. They have a trade-in. We post the trade-in. So, if Laura's got a car, trade in a 4Runner in for a Pilot. I'm going to take a picture of her Pilot, tag her in it. I'm going to put her comment. Laura just bought for me, so it goes on her Facebook page. She has a trade. Hey, this lady's very particular. She just traded in this 4Runner. There's 60 other salespeople. Give me a call if you're interested. It will not last long. A lot of our cars sell within 1 to 2 days of trade because we just turn them so fast. I have 60 salespeople. So they're going to, 50 to 60 managers, they're going to turn these cars. If she takes a picture of that trade, and if the average employee for us has 3,000 fans, or friends, I should say, so if I take her trade, post it on my wall, and then all the other salespeople grab it and share it, how many people did I reach with her trade-in? Thousands. What did that cost me? Now, if you don't have people in with the processes, you don't have somebody watching it. If I stop watching it for a few days, what's going to happen? The person's not going to follow the process. So then I have managers going back in and say, okay, did Scott go and post Laura's 4Runner? And if the sales rep didn't do it, then the manager needs to do it. If the manager misses it, then my used car manager does it. And then I want each one of my associates to grab that used car and post it, and I'll probably sell it before it ever gets through the shop. And what did it cost me? Zero. It cost me time. So that's how important social media can be. And I can try to relate it to your business, but I'm going to relate it to mine, and each one of you can take it and use it towards your business, especially if you're, if you're in sales. So, let's see, I'll go over this at the end. Go to the third slide. Just real quick. This is some of the things I'm invited in the community. I'm involved in the community. This is our team, top right. That's my daughter Morgan. She's 15 years old. She's going to start driving soon. And she has her first friend, which I refuse to call boy. This has been terribly difficult years for me because I was, my years during that, I was a pretty wild child. So God has paid me back. That's my son Dawson. I do volunteer and coach youth football. I run the Augusta Spartans in my spare time. And then I also run the Thomas Jefferson Youth Football League, which spans from Orange to Fluvanna to Rockingham. We have about 1,100 kids in our program. I met my wife when she was 15. I was 17 in Southern West Virginia. She's not my cousin. This is coaching. We have 2 rescue dogs and we have a rescue cat. If you see our Subaru commercials, who's seen our Subaru commercials with our dogs? I've been on TV since 2010. I know I have a face for radio, but I have been on TV since 2010. And I know some of our commercials have been pretty bad, and I apologize. I'm sorry. We have cut back some, on TV now. We got Carlton. We do it through social media, so you can just exit if you don't like it. But anyway, we have 2 rescues. That's Lily, the star. That's Max. The dog can sit on TV, not even look in the right direction. So Lily's looking this way, they're filming this way, and I'll go out, and I've been on TV since 2010, that dog's been on TV since 14, and everybody doesn't ask about me, they don't ask about the stupid pitch man. They want to know, where's the dog? I could be in the VW showroom, I could be in the Honda showroom, I mean, where's your dog? Kids and dogs and telling a story. That dog has sold us more cars than any other employee that we've got.
Does she get to go to the showroom with you?
She does. Now, this is where this one came from. So she unfortunately was abandoned in a yard in Pinlater. So at the time when we got her, I was still at Harrisonburg Honda. I used to run that dealership, and then I had a chance to buy my own. And I told the story earlier, a customer comes in, we just lost a Dalmatian of like 17 years. And it was real bad on our kids, and I said, I'm just not gonna get another one, you know, and we were still grieving. If anybody's lost a pet, it's tough. So I didn't want to do the bounce back, you know, I didn't want to just go get another dog. So this little girl and her family comes in, and she has 3 dogs in a box. So Lily was the third. Lily had no hair on her tail, no hair on her foot. She looked like a little raccoon, or a little possum. Well, the mother ran out of milk. So 4 of them passed, 3 got picked up, 3 ran underneath the trailer. So she was picked up. One of the employees took her brother, a customer took another brother. I called my wife and I said, no one wants this one. We thought she was gonna die. So I took her to the vet, and now she eats eggs, sleeps in the bed, and lives a better life than most humans. I mean, that dog needs so much love and care. So she's got hip dysplasia, and she's starting to go blind. So we called Lab Rescue because we're gluttons for punishment. The one beside of her, his name's Max. He was abandoned in a yard in West Virginia. So we're big supporters of Lab Rescue. We got Subaru to give a pretty sizable donation to them. They have an office down at the beach. So that dog was dropped off in West Virginia, which is where I'm originally from. It went from West Virginia to Maryland, up near Baltimore. So when you get approved to get a dog, they have to come and does anybody went through that process? Where you actually get approved? It's pretty serious. I mean, you have to go and they have to come visit you, and you know, it's like, okay, I like this. So we had 3 days to go get that dog. And on the 3rd day, we had to leave at 5 o'clock and drive to Baltimore, or we were going to miss our opportunity. Well, that dog's like 120 pounds. He's huge. He don't listen to nobody. Now I know why people left him in the yard. But he's an awesome dog. And if we can get him to not jump out of cars, he's going to sell more cars than Lily. Because I'm just telling you, he's a home run. I need to send him to get some training. I haven't been able to do that. This is our team. My partner is Liza Borges. We've been around since 1924. We're part of Carter Myers Automotive Group. And our employees own part of our company. They own over $13 million of our company. It was started by her great-grandfather, then her grandfather, her dad, and now she's in charge. She's in the picture here. She's one of the most respectable ladies you'd ever meet in your life. She lives in Charlottesville, and she has dealerships in Richmond, Stanton, Charlottesville, and we are looking to grow. So any opportunities that come open, our company's poised to grow, and we're looking to grow. So we hope we get opportunity. I'm all over social media. You know, I've got a unique story to tell, and you know, every day I'm posting something positive. Some of my pictures and comments, even on Facebook, are getting up to 300 comments, and I'm really just telling my story. Somehow I've gotten on a speaking circuit. I'm not a speaker. I'm just letting y'all know I'm doing a lot of this with notes, and I'm near the back, and I should be near the front. So I'm just letting y'all know that real quick. So anyway, I'm not a public speaker. I'm a car salesman, but I've been able to share the stage with Eric Thomas, people like that. That's the #1 motivational speaker in the world. I don't even know how I ended up there. It really just started telling my story and putting posts on social media, and now I'm sitting in front of a room talking to people like y'all. So it's pretty awesome. So that's just one of my one of my posts that I put up in the morning. I was named one of the top 40 people in the auto industry under the age of 40. It's not me. I've got some of the best people in the world. I live just a dream life. This is the different social media platforms. Who can name what is the biggest social media platform up there? What's that? Facebook. It's Facebook. Facebook has 2.32 billion users. The WhatsApp is next at 1.5 billion. To give you an idea, Twitter is 321 million, LinkedIn's 260 million, Instagram's 111 million. The biggest difference between Instagram and Facebook, Instagram is kind of for the younger group. I'm in that group where I'm not qualified for AARP yet, but I got my card in the mail, and I'm too young really for Snapchat, whatever they call it. So I'm somewhere in the middle.
I got enough going on with Facebook, so I really just focus on Facebook. Oh, we are going to give out some prizes. Everybody likes prizes. You're welcome. So if I ask a question, you put it in your hand. We'll give out a few things. Everybody likes free stuff, right? Okay. So by far, the one that our company focuses on, and it's not even close, is we focus on Facebook. Does anybody know how many times the average person checks their phone a day? 37? And
90.
yeah, nope.
200.
Nope. Mom?
175.
Nope.
Higher or lower?
Higher. No. You're getting closer.
375.
You're getting closer.
400.
Who said 400?
Right.
400. The average person checks their phone, average, 400 times. Now think about that.
A day?
A day. A day. And if you really sit and think about it, every time you get a text, I have in my Gmail account, which I have all my accounts feed into Gmail, will tell you, which just drives her nuts. I have 232,000 emails in my Gmail right now. 232,000 shows unopened. I've read them, I just didn't put them in folders. Because when it got to 10,000, then 20,000, then 30,000, once it got to 100,000, I said, I forget it. So I'm up to, what does it say actually?
It's awful.
1,500. See what it is, it's just funny. What does it say?
Do you have the badge that says that much?
Huh?
So the badge says that much?
Yeah.
Like, that would
Yeah.
drive me nuts.
I know, who's OCD in here?
I can't have any of that.
I used to be, but I gave up on that. What does it say? 232,076 to be exact. Hey, tell me that, how many people are trying to get my attention? But you send me a text with a video, what am I going to look at? How many text messages do I have on read right now? 6. If I'm going to get a hold of customers, we use text messaging a lot. You call somebody, they won't answer. You text them, they're going to text you right back. Because I can sit up here in between sessions and shoot off a few texts and not require a phone call. And I can be a whole lot more efficient that way. And we use texting quite a bit. We use texting and we use video. When a consumer sends in a quote, we try to respond back with a personalized video. We're working on it, we haven't got it perfected yet. One of the suggestions I would have for you would be something I did on your phone, on your home screen, on your screen locked, put something that's important to you, something that's positive. If you're going to check it 40 times, or 100 times, or 400 times, you want to keep your mind as positive as you possibly can. So what we ask our associates to do on their screens in front of them and on their screens on their phone is put something positive, either your family or a goal or something you want to accomplish. And that way, every time you look at it, it reinforces something positive in your mind. Because once you get your mind going negative, it's hard to get it turned around. You've got to see the positive in everything. Because trust me, no matter how bad your life is, people have got a whole lot worse than us. What's my home screen say? Sacrifice comfort for success is what my home screen says. We talked earlier, we talked earlier about, we do have a camera guy, videographer on staff. Pretty crazy, a car dealership's got a videographer, right? We're going to talk about your brand, style, and choice. And some of these people, some of you sit and say, well, Scott, I don't own a business. I don't manage a business. Each one of you have a brand, and your brand is your name. So we avoid anything controversial. We make sure that we're thoughtful in stuff that we post, and it takes time. But when people think of your name, you say, you know what? That's a really positive person. That's somebody that I would like to be around. That's someone that I'm getting a ton of calls where people want me to coach them, but I just don't have time. I haven't figured out how I can do that and do everything else that I do, because I love the car industry, I love what I do. But my inbox is full of people, hey, would you coach me? Would you consider mentoring me? But then when I sit and think what my time's worth, and I hit them with the figure, I said, I don't even want to commit to that because I don't have time. in between everything else that I'm doing. So, I know your brand, style, and voice. Be inclusive with language and word choice. Word choice is extremely important. You can use Grammarly, which I need, before you post something, and you can almost cut and paste and put it in to make sure. Laura probably corrects something I post a couple times a week, maybe a day. She'll say, Scott, you might want to go fix this. When you post at 4:45 in the morning, and you got one eye open, and you got stuff in the other one, it's really hard to post and not make a mistake. I just want you to know, because you're sitting there and not wanting to get your wife up too early. The young and hip companies can get away with more slang. Try to avoid that. Remember, if you're on there posting things and you're trying to be somebody you're not, your friends, indicator's going to go up and say, wait a minute, this isn't Scott. Who's Scott trying to be? Is he trying to be Tony Robbins or something? What's going on? So, niche brands can use more jargon and acronyms that are industry related. Because I post something that have to do with the car industry, may not compare, you may not be able to use it for real estate. So just make sure you stay in your lane. Be authentic and respond to your customers like a human being. When people respond to us, negative or positive, you need to respond to everybody. We need to do a better job of responding to positive posts. You always never delete a negative post. Respond to it. We're very sorry this happened. We'll be in touch. We'll get this corrected. Not a problem. We do make mistakes. We do get customer complaints from time to time. And there's times you can do everything exactly right. You're not going to make everybody happy. We still got to be respectful, and understand. When I talk to upset customers and employees, it typically has nothing to do with the car deal. It has to do with something they got going on in their personal life. And I just say, sit down and talk to me for a minute. What you got going on? You're awfully upset, and I can fix your problem. So what's going on? Well, 76% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. We've got a lot of turmoil going on in this country right now, which I really wish it would go away. So there's a lot of people with emotions, and sometimes I find that's nothing to do with what they're upset. They got something going on at home. So I just sit and say, hey, I'm here to help you. We're going to handle this in a very simple way, and I'm going to be very respectful. Purpose, we're a transportation company. We're not just a car dealership. We are there to help you with servicing, selling parts. We want to be, the reason why your brand's on social media isn't to educate, it's to entertain. Stay away from controversial topics. I will never, when came home from work and we had a sheriff sign in our yard. And I got home and I said, honey, where did this sheriff? Well, Kelly's on that committee. My wife's name's Kelly. Kelly's on that committee. She thought she would put that in our yard. I said, oh no. We're in sales. Like that has to go out of my yard. It's not a cop-out, but I want to sell Republicans, Democrats. I'm very much a capitalist. Social issues, I think you'll have to answer to someone much higher than me at a later time for that. That's not the business side, but I don't get involved in politics. I just don't, the controversy swirling around Robert E. Lee, that was, very controversial. I stayed far, far away from that topic. It's no win. You're not going to win in that, getting involved in that. And I know some car dealers decide to get involved, and I promise you it's going to hurt the business. So I stayed far, far away from that. We talked about this, about being authentic. And we also talked about no separate page. So if you're in real estate, you are who you are. When I'm involved in social media and I see other people that I communicate with, and before I can ask a favor for them, I need to make sure that I support them. This is a topic that's being talked about a lot. LinkedIn is really bad. Anytime you accept somebody, boom, next thing you know, here comes your inbox. I want to sell you something. You don't really have a right to try to sell somebody something until you have a relationship with them, in my opinion. Not unless you just offer something like, for cars, we do that through traditional, but I wouldn't just go and fill up someone's inbox, me personally, and say, hey, I want to sell each and every one of you a car. I would hope that when you're thinking about it, you'll think about our dealerships. So we're building on building relationships and building our image and working on our name in the community. So two-way communication is key. Let me give you an example. So if a friend of mine has a podcast on, there's a friend of mine named Glenn Lundy. He runs a thing called Rise and Grind. He was a car dealer about a year ago. Ran one of the most successful car dealerships in the nation. They were selling 1,000 cars a month in Paris, Kentucky, in a small town. He felt like that there was a bigger calling for him, and he started going in his closet and starting this group called Rise and Grind. Started off with just a few members. He did a Facebook Live every day at 5:30. Now that group has grown to over 30,000 people, and he wants to make that show the #1 show in the morning. It's very positive. It's very uplifting. It's like an online community called Rise and Grind. When every 5:30 gets up, I share his feed every day because I align with what he's saying. He's Christian, and I align with what he says, so I share. So if I ask Glenn to do me a favor, he just spoke to our group. We just had a word ceremony, and he came and spoke to our group. Because I do stuff for him, I can ask for him to do stuff. It's called collaboration. But if you go in and just ask somebody to do something when you've never done anything from them, they're going to be turned off. Big time. So, two-way communication, being very active on social media. Make sure to converse, interact, and engage your audience. If we could get consumers to do a video with us, we try to do that whenever they're purchasing the vehicle to talk about their experience. Not a lot of people are comfortable with that. Some people aren't comfortable with getting their picture taken, period. And that's okay. We don't make them. We adjust to whatever the consumer wants. We build trust through communication. We do that by telling our story. Carlton goes and interviews associates. We have a spotlight of an employee. We just did 5 internal promotions, which we try to internally promote every chance we get. And Carlton interviewed the people and said what it was like getting a promotion. We announced 5 of them at one time. One of the guys actually cried. We're real big on promoting from within and giving people opportunities. Leverage current customers' relationships with potential customers. When I take a picture of you buying a house, they're going to put that on a page, and all their friends are going to see it. And then you say, if I've earned your trust and exceeded your expectations, if you would refer people to me, I would sincerely appreciate that. But I better well exceed that customer's expectations, or they're not going to refer me anybody. Consumers are buying the same make less than half the time. So if you think about this as a car salesperson, if I sold you a Honda, you're less than 50%. Now Honda's higher than most, but you're less than 50% chance you're going to come back and buy that car. Just the same brand. If you sit and say, well, what about come back and buying from me? That's probably like 25%. So I've got to exceed your expectations and go way overboard and make sure I do everything I told you to do and exceed everything. Be there for your service, we bring your car in, and make sure if you have a problem, I answer the phone. And you still may not come back to me. Everybody agree loyalty is not what it used to be because there's too much information that can be getting on the internet. So now it's even more important we go above and beyond for all of our customers. And even when you do that, they still may not come back. Everybody agree that people's demands are, used to they would go and they'd say, hey, go tell your friends. I was like, okay, go tell all 5 of them. No, not with social media, right? We wouldn't do that anyway, just kidding. But you can't do that with social media because they could get on social media really fast to get that message out to a whole lot of people. So now the pressure to take care of our customers is really at an all-time high because of social media. So it's a good thing and a bad thing. It's enabled people to grow really fast, but it makes you got to be on top of your toes. You got to be on top of your game, that's for sure. Our story, which I first started off by telling you, we're an employee-owned company, so our tagline is owners just do more. We tell that story. Whenever you're dealing with someone that you feel like has ownership in a company, you just get treated a little bit differently. We want our employees to see if you have a problem, don't run from the problem, go to the problem. We empower our employees to fix the problem. If there's a piece of trash on the ground, pick it up. If you go in the bathroom and there's a piece of trash in the corner, I pick it up almost every single time I go in there. Take pictures of it, send it to the manager, say, look, this is a bad, terrible impression. How do I come in and this one piece of paper is in this corner every single time? I thought it was a joke. And I said, I know a consumer's not doing this, but I pick up that same piece of paper every single time in the corner. And I said, none of y'all are ever going to own a business if you won't sit there and pick up a piece of paper. You can't think like that. You can't think you've got to think about the small things because people make impressions about the restaurant when they come in. So storytelling, I tell a story, our company tells a story, our videographer helps us tell a story. You've got to be relatable with your social media. The days that you don't feel like doing something or some of the struggles that we go through, we don't want to put ourselves on a pedestal. We don't want to make people feel like that we're better than them, because we're not. So we've got to make sure that we share everything that we go through because people want to be able to relate to you. If they can't relate to you, then they just say, well, I can't just even relate to what that guy's talking about. I have problems, and the people, I've been around some really successful speakers, and trust me, they have as many problems as any of us. And we could sit and have a pity party if we wanted to. I'm sure we could all sit right now, go around the room, and each one of us complain about something. We'd all be shocked. Our mouths would hit the floor and say, goodness gracious, I can't believe she's going through that or he's going through that. So, but you've got to stay positive through it all. We share pictures we want to be good ambassadors to the community, but it's now important, now more than ever, to tell that story and take that picture. When Laura and I got here today, one of the first things I did was I took a picture, put it on social media out there front, give it back to the community. I'm coming to speak at the chamber today. If you're not a member of the chamber does great things for our community. You should take a look at it. That's what I posted when I came here. So I did something for the chamber, right? I'm a member of the chamber, proud member of the chamber. I'm on a couple boards of football, so if I ever went to them and say, I need help with this, they'd be inclined to help because it's a give and take relationship. Everybody agree? What does that take, though? It takes time. To be really active in social media and have a good name on social media, it takes your time. It takes sacrifices. To do a post, sometimes to get my thought across, it might take me 30 minutes. When I open, 4:45 in the morning, my wife's like, we're going to be late. And I'm like, hold on, I'm about done. I'm going to put this post out. And then I'll put it out, and then 2 or 3 hours later, I'll get a private message. Hey, I did not want to go work out today, but because I saw you post that you're going to go work out today, it made me get out of bed this morning. I just want to say thank you for doing that. The content that you put out, it should be relevant to your client's needs. You don't want to post just for the sake of posting. You could just get caught in the clutter. Some of our managers, we ask them to post, and they'll just post just a word or a sentence. Excuse me. They'll just post the sentence, and I go back to them and say, don't waste your time, because if a post doesn't have a picture or video, people are going to scroll right by. So if you're posting something right now with just saying something, it's not going to get read. That's the reason why Instagram's so popular, is the attention span of these kids. They want to look at a picture, click it one more time to like it, or move on. They don't have time to read what it says. That's why Instagram's gotten so popular. So pictures are extremely important, and make sure that when you post something, you have something relevant to post. How many people use the stories across the top of Facebook and across Instagram? Does everybody know what I'm talking about? So if you want to post that you're at a vineyard, or you post that you're with your family, you want to post something cool about your church or your job, and you don't want to tell a story, if you just use the stories across the top, you can still stay relevant and get your information out there. But when you actually take time to type up a story, you want it to be relevant. So when people see it, they stop and they read what you post. So a lot of people go through and they use the stories across the top, just like you would use for Snapchat. I don't use Snapchat. I've got enough going on. Like I said, I'm somewhere between Snapchat and AARP there. But anyway, I don't even use Snapchat. But it's very similar, because there's people that are taking these pictures all day long. And if you're not careful, you can spend all your time on social media and get nothing done. So you've really got to make sure that you've got a game plan on what you want to accomplish. Some people just want to get on there to see what everybody else is doing. The problem with that is you start turning and living other people's lives instead of living your own life. And then you wake up and you're like, heck, where did my life go? right? So, don't post too frequently. If you do, use your stories. Keep content meaningful and simple. Remember to make most of the majority of your posts visual in nature, and take your customer behind the scenes. So if I'm a bank, or if I'm a company that changes people's lives and helps them lose weight, I'm gonna film that. I'm gonna take people through that journey. You don't have to have a videographer. Carl's camera guy is one of the best, but you don't have to have a videographer. You can tell the story with your phone. But consumers want to know more about your company. They want to know more about the fair. They want to know what the fair does for the community. You do a good job with that, telling the story about the fair and why it's important to our community. It's very important to our community, right? But you got to tell the story. And everybody in here's got a story to tell. So I said, well, Scott, this is crazy. You're crazy. I don't want to do any of this. And that's fine. That's totally fine. But if you want to be an entrepreneur, and if you need to be known for what you do. If not, you're just going to get lost with everybody else. I'm a car dealer. Now think about that. We're trying to change the image of being a car salesperson. Be honest with you, if you look at the polls, I'm sure y'all see it, we're about at the bottom. We're trying to make it cool to be a car salesman again. I think the only thing below us is a politician. And it's close. But I want people to meet us and say, you know what, y'all do a lot for the community. You're really a great person. You're not like the others. And I take great pride in being a car salesperson. We do a lot for the communities. We're a transportation company. We get you from A to B. We make sure your car's safe. And we try to give back as much as we possibly can.